This is going to sound harsh, and a lot of you guys are going to be upset about this, but you guys need to stop having children with men who are not trying to be with you, who are not obsessed with you, who do not want kids with you, and then complaining about how they are bad fathers. Because you are bringing children into dysfunctional families and then getting upset about the ramifications of a dysfunctional family. If you are such a good mother, you had the ultimate choice on who was going to be your baby's father. And you chose out of selfishness. And then you want to run your mouth talking about, oh, he's not a good father. But are you a good mother? Because why did you have a kid out of wedlock? Why did you have a kid with someone who was not entirely excited and obsessed with having a kid with you? But you want to complain.
To all of the single mothers that actually think that they're good mothers, you aren't. See, motherhood starts before the child is conceived. For some reason, you don't understand that your choice is actually out the window after the baby comes. Your choice happens before the baby is even thought about. The person that you start having with, that's the choice. So instead of whining about your choice that you already made blowing up in your face, how about you become more self-aware so this choice won't happen again? I'm tired of y'all men whining about why won't KeKe Palmer act right and put her booty cheeks away. And also, I'm tired of you women saying, why don't my loser baby daddy come see his child? Because they don't want to. These are the idiots that y'all picked to have a baby with. Your actual choice is where the goes or doesn't go. If you did that, you wouldn't have these problems. I want you to think about buying a house. Home ownership, just like motherhood, isn't about buying the house. It's about choosing the house. If you buy a wrong house in a bad neighborhood and the house is messed up, you're going to be stuck with that house for a long period of time. And you don't want to pick the wrong house. So if you see a real nice house, but if it's in a bad neighborhood, you're not going to buy the house. A huge part, the biggest part of home ownership is choosing the right house. But when it comes to motherhood, you think you're a good mother after you chose the wrong man to have a baby with, but now you're a good mother. No, you're not, because you literally just cursed your child to either have no father, because some of y'all don't even know who the father is, a bad father, an abusive father, a father that doesn't really care to come around his child. But the thing about it is, you had a baby with this man.
Deeper Discussion card game is meant to give you and other players deep understanding of how we all deal with relationship, when or if things get serious. One of the biggest reasons why people break up is because of underlying family issues. This game can be played with either 2 people or an entire group, so have fun.
Question number 1. What is the one thing you wanted but didn't receive when you were young? Name a time when money was the main factor why a relationship went bad.
Deeper Discussions Dating Edition. Again, these cards are good for vetting a potential boyfriend, a potential girlfriend, a potential husband, a potential wife. It'll even tell you what's wrong with your sneaky link. If you and your sneaky link need to have a conversation, these are the cards. Actually, these cards are so soft and silky, by the way. Like
they ain't gonna get
really
wore out.
Durable.
A dating card game for introverts who have a hard time asking the much needed compatibility questions. Deeper Discussions, the card game.
So when you walk around, because all of y'all have the same story. I don't know if y'all know this. Every last one of y'all have almost the same exact story. Y'all were together and then y'all had a baby and things changed. If you know that this happens to virtually every woman, why do y'all keep doing the same thing over and over again? Because you don't care. See, the actual secret that only I know, because other people don't really care to know, is that y'all don't care about who your baby daddy is. You actually want your baby daddy to be a bum. You actually want your baby daddy to be a loser. Why? Because he won't have any control over your narrative. See, a lot of y'all, the majority of y'all, just want to run around, skip around being little children as adults. And just like when you was a kid, you was mad when your mama told you to do this or your daddy told you to do that. Well, some of y'all ain't got no daddies, but you did not want somebody to be able to tell you what to do. So now that you're an adult, you're the same way. So if you get with an upstanding, smart man that actually wants to marry you and control the way everything goes, you're going to feel like you're controlled. Your job as a woman is to contribute, but the majority of you want to control. So you get with a loser instead of an upstanding, smart man, because he's going to have control over his household. He's going to be in charge of his household. He's going to have responsibility over you and a child in the household. You want that responsibility because, in all honesty, a lot of you ladies have something called penis envy, and you actually want the dominance or the abilities that men have. So what you do is you create that for yourself by getting with a loser, by getting with a bum, by getting with a man that has all these emotional issues, just so you can paint the picture when the baby comes. Oh, this isn't working out. You don't want it to work out. Just like KeKe Palmer didn't want it to work out. KeKe Palmer was with this dude all of this time, all of these years. But the second she has a baby, now they ain't together no more. And you actually think that is a fluke? No, KeKe Palmer is just like the rest of y'all. You don't want it to work out. You wanted to have a baby with a loser because, like I said, you want control over your narrative. Because as an example, if you had a baby with me, I'm taking custody of the child if it don't work out. You ain't going to have custody of my child. The child is going to be with me. The child's going to be raised by me, and you're going to be able to come see your child whenever you want to, but altogether, the child's living with me. You don't want to live a life like that. You know why? Because most mothers don't live like that. You want a baby so you can be a mother. But if the man has custody of the child and not you, you can't be a mother in your mind. This is the reason why so many of you have fatherless babies, because you just want a baby. And like I said, if you think I'm lying, KeKe Palmer is a perfect example of all of that. Your biological clock is ticking for those who don't have children. And if you weren't able to keep a man in your 20s or get a man to marry you in your 20s, most likely you're not going to be able to keep or get a man to marry you in your 30s. But guess what? That clock is ticking. That clock is ticking. That clock is ticking. So what do? You find anybody that's dumb enough to put a baby in you so you can have your baby. But it's not your baby. You just want it to be. It's you and the man's baby. But you get with an emotionally unavailable, a dumb dude, a man that's broke, a man that's stupid, so that baby can be yours by default. Because a man that's stupid can't necessarily fight for custody for his child. So now his child is stuck with you. And just like how you were traumatized by your single mom, you're going to traumatize your child most likely. Because the bottom line is, and this is what's sad, none of you were raised to be wives. Y'all were raised to be mothers because your mother couldn't keep no man. And your mother actually taught you or conditioned you that you're not going to be able to keep no man either, because she was in competition with you once you turned 12, 13, 14. And she's looking at you and looking at your body. And she started telling you, don't let no man control you. Don't let no man do this. What do you think a man is supposed to do when he comes in? He's responsible for you. And when a man is responsible for you, there is a certain amount of control. See, women were put on this earth to be helpmates. Now, y'all have put yourselves in a position, because y'all are having babies with losers, as leaders of households. You're not supposed to be the leader of the household. You are supposed to be a helpmate. By having a baby with a loser, you are now the head of household by default, because the man you purposely chose to have a baby with is a bum. You do this on purpose in order to get dominance over your child and over your narrative. But what you don't realize is you are supposed to be a helpmate to a man. Find a man that actually wants you and wants to marry you, like the lady said. But you can't find a man to do that. Why? Because you need therapy. You'll go out and get a student loan that you know you can't pay back and spend 4 to 6 years in college, but won't spend 1 year letting go of your childhood trauma in therapy. None of y'all have spent a year in therapy and then went back to college after y'all graduated. But y'all got all these student loans, but all this trauma. I'll say that again. Y'all got all these student loans and all this trauma that you're bringing to a man's doorstep, expecting him to deal with all of it. Don't no man want to deal with your student loans that you can't pay back. And then on top of that, he has to deal with all your childhood trauma that you have not resolved yet because you ain't did a lick of therapy. And then at the same time, y'all run around saying, well, these men don't want to get married. Well, there's two things. One is a possibility that the men that you're meeting don't want to marry you. See, men want to get married, but we haven't met the woman that we actually want to marry. Therefore, we don't get married. You know why? our last names are very important to us. And we're not just going to give any woman our last name. We're not going to just marry any woman. And most of you, in all honesty, are just any woman. Most of y'all even look the same, wearing a wig, overweight. If you just look at yourself in the mirror and then look at other women around you, you'll easily see that all of y'all, to a certain degree, look alike. But you expect a man to just come in and marry you, even though, unbeknownst to him, you have assimilated yourself with other dysfunctional women where you look and act and talk just like the other women around you. But you want him to marry you when you're a cookie cutter version of the other women that he's dated before. We look for special women. Keyword special. Ain't nobody gonna marry no cookie cutter version of other women. So number one, involving these men don't want to get married. No, these men don't want to get married to you. And the second thing is, if these men don't want to get married, why do all of y'all have babies? Where's all the babies coming from? If all these men are trash or none of these men want to get married, how do all of you have babies? Answer that. Because the bottom line is, if you can't find a man to marry you, if you can't find a man that's going to love and protect and want to be with you, just like the woman said, if all of us are terrible, how do all of y'all have babies? Because you don't care. All you want is a baby. All y'all care about is having a freaking baby. And I'm glad this woman actually said it, because a lot of y'all think having a baby is like having a freaking puppy. Talking about y'all care about children. You're looking at somebody that takes pride in being a father. I'm in my kids' faces on a normal basis, or on a phone, my kids on a normal basis. What you doing? Why you do that? Do this, do that. On a normal basis. I love being a father. And a lot of you ladies have deprived your child of having that. And that in itself disgusts me. Yes, it's disgusting to me, because I'm a full-blown father. So when I see all these little fatherless babies out here because y'all did it on purpose, and y'all sit around and victimize yourselves and whine about, why aren't these men stepping up? Because you didn't choose a man that's capable of stepping up on purpose. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. In your opinion, why is this single mother epidemic getting bigger and getting worse? Let me know what y'all think in the comments.